Hi, I'm Sophie, and I haven't seen a lot of films.
Hi, I'm Paul, and I'm here to help with that. And we are
SP Film Viewers.
Happy Monster March!
Yay!
Well,
Happy last Monster
yeah.
March! Woo!
So, yeah, as I explained in the last episode we did, I feel like it's not so much run its course, but I feel
It has.
Sophie's nodding her head. But I feel like it's go for the trilogy of the months of
So long, so well, every day say goodbye.
Do one last bunch of movies involving monsters through a month anyway, and it works out all right because with the way it falls with the Thursday release days of the episodes, we manage to get 5 in instead of 4. So at least that.
Oh yeah,
something.
yeah. So excited. Also, I love how he said monster films, but not the fact that we're never not going to watch another monster film. You couldn't say that, could you?
No, because some of them kind of fall into horror genre, so...
Oh, yeah, forgot about that. Great.
Yeah.
But he did let me pick this time, didn't you?
What's that supposed to mean?
Well, you didn't let me last time. You gave me an option, and then you were like, no, Sophie, you haven't picked the right one, clearly. We'll just send it to Twitter.
Did you not enjoy the film that we covered?
I did.
In the end?
Yeah,
but...
I did. Still, don't give me a choice if I can't pick.
Couldn't decide myself, so because they're all good options for that one.
Yeah, they were.
Anyway, to kick off Monster March and the one that you haven't seen, going for a fairly interesting one.
Oh.
In terms of, in the sense of what maybe the cast is really, for one thing. There's a couple of musicians, well, lead role in the supporting cast, and that film is Anaconda.
I can't say it, so I'm not even going to try. But the only thing that when I read it was the Nicki Minaj song came to my head.
Yeah.
And then you said J-Lo was in it, and I was like, oh, I kind of quite like her as an actress, actually. I feel like more nowadays she's more of an actress than she is a singer.
Yeah, and particularly like rom-com stuff, I presume.
Yeah. Made in Manhattan, it's another one as well. Wedding Planner, I think.
Was she in... I think she was in like more recent stuff like Hustlers or something, or Ocean's 12 or something.
There's a new one called Marry Me as well that she's in with that guy that looks like he's got his nose punched.
Owen Wilson.
Yeah.
Who happens to be in this film as well.
Oh, no.
So you picked it, so...
For goodness sake. I feel like I need to just go like this and just make his nose right. Nose.
Yeah. Right. I'll read you a little brief synopsis of this anyway. A snake hunter offers his assistance to a documentary crew attempting to film an indigenous tribe in the Amazon. But as the journey progresses, his presence forces them to veer into dangerous waters. The anaconda.
I hope I'm going to call it a snake because...
What is a snake?
I'm going to struggle to say anaconda. Yeah. Anaconda.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just hope that he actually doesn't die. Like, this is always like, I feel like animal cruelty with these Monster March films. Like, the poor beast has to be hurt, and it's like, why? It's not really a bad thing. You've gone out of your way to find it, and then it's killing you, and it's like, oh, we have to kill the beast. And it's like, well, if you'd left it alone, you'd have been fine. I think that's the thing. It's like a bit like an action film with these Monster March films, like the same thing. Oh, there's a big beast, right? Let's go stalk it. Let's go aggravate it. Oh, it's attacking now our city. And it's like, oh, shocking. Well, if you'd have left it alone, it's like Kong. Why did you bring it to New York? Just, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's like that Godzilla film. It's the one with Robot Man, Matthew Broderick, and he's shit acting. And I was even like back. I know I said that in the review probably, but like how I was rooting for Godzilla.
Yeah.
Because all the people were just so unlikable.
Like, I'm already rooting for the snake before I even know.
Even if it's squeezing J-Lo.
Well, if it does, then it's her own fault she were there, to be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So excited to see what happens, or do you think you know what's going to occur?
If the snake dies, then I'll be pissed off.
Right.
So there you go, Paul. If the snake lives happily ever after, then we'll be happy.
Well, bear in mind that you picked this one up first. So
I did, just because it's got J-Lo in it, and I was a bit like, oh, well, this is...
somewhat different. I mean, it's a realistic animal. But
yes, it is. And as well, I knew by the title what it was, whereas every other one I was like...
maybe a bit ambiguous, yeah.
Yeah, I had to be like, what is that?
Okay.
So I'm looking forward to it, but everything with Monster March is a bit of trepidation for me.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Right. Won't say any more on it, so we will be back shortly.
Have you lost your mind?
Have I lost my mind? No, I haven't lost my mind. If anything, I'm completely lucid right now. I think it's you guys who need to open up your eyes. Do you know where you are? You're in the middle of the jungle. Okay, all you guys do is you question and you criticize. But just remember, you don't know shit about the shit we're in out here. And neither do I, okay? But I guarantee you I know who does. This guy.
So what do you think of this film?
Like, where do we start? Why is it every film I pick is like not like great? What is that about?
I think what drew you to this is when I said J-Lo was in it, isn't it? That's
Yeah.
really, otherwise you wouldn't have been interested at all.
Well, you really like snakes and reptilia kind of creatures where, to be fair, I couldn't care less for one.
Yeah, I'd have one as a pet, if that's what you mean. Yeah.
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 But you don't like a worm.
Worms don't have faces.
Worms freak you out, and
there's obviously the misconception that snakes are slimy. That's not true at all.
I still feel like a worm wouldn't hurt me, so I'm okay on that one.
Well, I'm waiting for there to be a film some point down the line where there's a killer worm or something. You know what'll happen. At some point, they run out of ideas.
Think it will.
Well, they've done plenty of other things that are inanimate objects that kill people. So,
well, I'd like to think it didn't kill people. Maybe they might do a worm like animation, like Turbo, the snail kind of thing. They might do it on the lines of that.
I suppose. I don't know how interested that would be.
Well, Turbo's not that great, and we're excited to see that.
I know you were like just got Ryan Reynolds doing the voice, I think, with that.
And there
you
were
like,
snails, and I like snails. They're cute.
Yeah, I think we went to see that, and at the beginning of our dating.
Mm-hmm. And then you took me to Wreck-It Ralph, which clearly is better.
Yeah.
It's very annoying.
Would you say this film is annoying?
It's just crap acting.
Yeah.
From the get-go. J-Lo, bless her, she does at the end kind of try and... Her acting's not the worst one, which is, you know...
That's true. I think that's maybe really because, a bit like maybe Jennifer Aniston in Leprechaun, which we've covered, this was her like major motion picture film. So, and obviously J-Lo was more, I think at that point she was more enough to be a singer, wasn't she, as than acting. So, I guess she was kind of finding her feet.
But she did it, I feel like you can't fault her for really what her role. Like, and her acting ability within it, she did really well, and I can kind of see where she's come from. And it wasn't the worst performance for her, just like you're saying Jennifer Aniston in Leprechaun.
Yeah.
She did really well in that role, but it's just the whole story, it's just weak.
Yeah, there's not much going on. The only person of interest, really, if the actor called John Voight, I think his character's name Paul, is that really, you know, the one they kind of stumble across on the boat, and then he turns out to be the obvious bad guy.
Yeah, even though he looks like something out of Cobra Kai, and I don't know why.
Yeah, you said that, didn't you? Thinking that, I said, no way, that if that was the case, the guy in Cobra Kai would be like 100 or something.
Now, are you meaning like Cease? Is it Cease, or is it... Crease, not Cease.
Huh?
Oh, are you meaning like he looks like Crease, like the sensei? Or are you meaning the new
no,
one?
the new one in spoilers. It was season 4 of Cobra Kai. The one from Karate Kid 3 comes back in that, but
Yeah,
he kind of looks like the guy in that. I could see where you're coming from, but
Yeah.
I say no, it's not him. The age is too vast.
Yeah, because
from
J-Lo looks so young,
young,
doesn't
yeah.
she?
Yeah. But to a point of if his character, John Voight's character, wasn't in the film because he's like proper chewing the scenery with the, he's over the top facial expressions and this, hey, what are you doing, huh? Kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Demeanor going on and just overall just asshole vibe. There wouldn't be much in terms of like what the film has to offer for entertainment value, really, because if anything, he's more of the monster than the snake is.
Yeah, 100%.
Even though he says, like, in part of the way in the film's like, don't make me a monster, make me have to be a monster. I didn't eat Mateo or something like that, he says.
Yeah, but you didn't go back from either.
Yeah.
So, and you knew what was probably out there when we risked getting all your stuff to get the big snake or anaconda.
Yeah. And the other person who's come from a music background but had done acting prior to this is Ice Cube. And
what does Ice Cube sing or rap?
Today was a good day, which I think he kind of like, almost like a wink to the audience when he says like a kind of a line that's kind of like on those lines anyway. It's like,
never heard of Ice Cube before. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not down with the kids on that one. I was like, yeah, okay, I know J-Lo, but I'm not really into my rappers like you are.
But do you not remember him from, was it 21 Jump Street and 22 Jump Street? And he's like the ones who he's like, not a commissioner, but like the person who kind of sets him up for doing like the undercover missions.
Yeah, but I still didn't know he was Ice Cube, and I didn't know he was a singer.
Oh, right, okay.
So I knew that was him, but I didn't know he sang, if that makes sense. Yeah, rapped, whatever he does. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
But it's funny because at the end you left with
the two musicians,
that aren't actors or actresses.
Yeah.
And obviously your bad guy. And it's like, what does that say for a film where you've got other people that are paid to be actors?
Yeah, and we've got, Owen Wilson as well.
He does me head in. He really does.
The best of times.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. It's just any character he plays, it's always the same, and I never gel with it.
It's like surfer dude kind of vibe, and he really.
It's like that Sophology advert. It does my head in.
Yeah.
It's like, just relax, and it's his voice, the way he talks. I don't know, but I know he can't help the way he talks. But it's just I think it's because as well I associate him with Adam Sandler. Don't know.
No, I think he's more Ben Stiller.
But that to me is like the same
category of comedies. I don't think, to my knowledge, I don't think they've.
Have they not been in The Wedding Singer? No.
I don't think so. You know better than I do. I can't. It's been ages
No,
since
he had a blonde-haired man, I think. So
okay.
I'm just linking the two that way.
Okay. But he's also called Gary as well, isn't he? So we got another
for
Gary.
goodness sake. And then Paul is the bad guy. Like, what the hell? Like, I never would say Paul is a villain name.
No, not really.
No. Well, comparing him to you,
yeah.
Which I'm hoping you're not a villain.
No. Or am I?
Well, the shy ones are the worst, or the quiet ones to say.
It's true.
Also, Paul's mind is like a mystery still to me. Trying to unpick his brain. I never know what he's thinking.
What do you think about the snake, anyway? The creature of this feature.
I don't know why that made everyone laugh.
Trying to be witty. Kind of linking our conversation along.
Yeah.
I don't think it's terribly bad considering the age of the film, to be honest. There might be CGI moments where it looks a bit as to be expected, but again, there's a fair use of animatronics in this puppetry kind of going on, and I think it's serviceable for what it is.
Yeah, I know it's a big ass snake, but it just doesn't look that vicious. I know that sounds daft. You know, like where we've watched like Godzilla or something like that. It's like this big thing blowing out fire or radioactive crap. And
yeah.
it's like...
You want...
it's just a snake. I know that sounds daft. It's just a big snake.
But it makes it more grounded in that sense, though. It's not like a snake with, like, say, radioactive breath or laser vision or something stupid, because that seems a bit far-fetched. There are... I mean, it's set in the Amazon jungle, and there are vicious animals of all kinds in there, and so snakes are very much believable. This one just happens to be a really big one. Like,
I don't think they're
like
ever
Jaws.
that big. Like, I might be wrong.
No, it's obviously scaling up massively for a big threat, but...
What's the one in Aladdin where it has...
As a cobra.
Now that, I think, is more scarier.
Well, that's why they have... King cobras have that frill as like an intimidation mechanism.
Whereas these, because it's a tiny snake head, it just doesn't...
Yeah.
And the concept of it eating, I know it can eat bigger than its, like, stomach's worth.
Yeah.
And I get that, but it's just the thought of that kind of, the big anaconda eating the human, I don't know, it just doesn't seem very realistic to me.
But it's realistic, because that's how snakes swallow, because they don't have the
yeah, but not like a full human. That's what I'm meaning. It'd probably be like a big mouse.
Yeah, small.
Rat.
Well, that's small. But that's the equivalent. If you scaled up a human to a mouse size, maybe, then it'll be the same equivalent.
It just, I don't know. I feel like realism-wise, it didn't work, and the snake for me didn't look that great. I wasn't really scared of it. I think Jaws scared me more. There was more jumpy moments with Jaws popping out, where the snake, it was just, it's now there.
Yeah. And on the subject of Jaws, very briefly there was like a shot I noticed that there's kind of like that, you know, remember that zoom shot, you know, where Rhodey's like on the beach, and he's like kind of looking out, and there's like realization that shark's coming. They tried to mimic the shot similarly with J-Lo, but it just was just very poor how it was trying to kind of come across, really. So there's something I noticed there.
Was this one after Jaws? I'm guessing it is, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
1997
this came out, so...
Yeah, because they're on about the 90s a lot in this, weren't they? Which would definitely normally appeal to me, because I'm a 90s baby. Like, I bought 1992.
Yeah.
So you can't be technically a 90s baby, even though most of your life you have been 90s.
Okay.
But I am definitely a 90s baby, and it's like, I just didn't feel anything really love for this film.
Well, you wouldn't have been watching this when you were 10 years,
but
would you?
Just the nostalgia of the 90s. So, like, having J-Lo, having, like, that kind of clothing and sense and all of that. And some quick kind of lines would normally bring us back to the 90s, which would make you kind of favour it a little bit more. But it doesn't. It
doesn't quite... Saying that, for me, it doesn't really feel like it's too much of a product of its time or anything like that. There was nothing that really struck me as, obviously, other than the fact that J-Lo and Ice Cube look really young.
I think Ice Cube does say something about the 90s within it, I think. When the 90s baby or something like that.
But otherwise, it could be set at any time. It could be on like I mean, they have done sequels for this, but...
What?
Yeah, they have.
Why? Why do they go back? Is J-Lo in it?
No.
Okay.
It's completely different people.
Some people just trying to find a big snake again.
I don't know.
I'm not watching that.
No.
Okay, I just want to tell you, I'm not doing it again.
No, but they're kind of like, I assume, I watched them myself, but I assume they're like straight to DVD like type films or something. Or, you know, there's kind of like crappy, like really crap CGI models of things, like that's not even less believable.
True. I'd have put down here as well that when they're setting off to go to the Amazon, kind of the music made me laugh. It was like trying to be like a bit of a Jurassic Park's vibe, like
like an explorer type feature, isn't it? Yeah.
But it just didn't seem as magical, didn't the Amazon? Like I feel like they were really on a budget with this, because the amount of animals I thought you'd have seen, like you'd have probably been bit by a mosquito, probably several times.
Yeah. Well, I did look into because I thought you might bring this up. Like, was it just all on a really shoestring budget or something. Like, is it even in the studio?
Mm.
I think for certain shots it was. They had to do that more for when they're using the snake, but they genuinely were in the Amazon, like in deep part of the Amazon. Where
Didn't
this
look
stuff-
like it though, did it? I know I've never been to the Amazon before.
I wouldn't want to go. You need like
But you just-
tetanus jabs and all
You'd have
kind of
thought they'd
stuff.
been sweating. It should be
Yeah,
boiling. You know.
Yeah, I did think that though. I was actually thinking, where's all the mosquitoes and all the stuff that you would normally associate? Or maybe that's just, I don't know if that's maybe a myth or that it was just a time of year where it wasn't so bad. I don't know.
Maybe. But it just looks like they've put a RAF anywhere, to be fair. And they're going down a river
maybe,
that it
but-
don't get encountered with any other animals or anything like that. Like, it just
Well,
don't...
what would you want them to encounter as well?
Well, I'm sure there's like some tropical birds or something like that. You could have like,
There was monkeys.
yeah, that he shot.
Yeah, and there was a black panther.
Yeah, that wasn't real though, was it?
Not for that one shot, no. It's like, I've been squeezed to death and then his eye popped out.
But
Yeah.
I'm sure there'd have been more wildlife there. Like, that's what I'm meaning. There's more wildlife in my garden than what we saw.
I think the way they get around it as such is because they're on the river. Obviously, if they were in the actual jungle itself, there probably would be more like, oh, there's spiders or there's flies around me, kind of around me.
But that's why I was thinking birds, because it was like, well, you could be
Yeah.
seeing something flying past or something, but it's just,
I get what you mean. Yeah,
it's just meh. Really
Yeah, no.
is.
I knew that going in as well, like I said, but
Well, no, you didn't, because you let me pick it and then made me
Well-
have a whole sing-song about the fact that you don't let me pick films. And then we're like, oh, yeah, so for you, we can watch this. Ha, ha, ha. It's going to be crap and she's going to hate it. Didn't
No,
you? You
yeah,
just tried to show me up.
But
Can we also just mention about Steve, Dr. Cal?
oh yeah, the guy who's kind of like in it for like maybe like a third of the film, and then he's like in bed rest for the rest of the.
And
sits it
J-Lo, like, kisses him and it's like, really? Would J-Lo be with him? I
Yeah.
don't think she would.
Unrealistic.
Yeah. Also, he just looks like one of those Mr. Know-It-All kind of posh boys.
Well, there is a bit of that, isn't there? A bit of competition of egos between him and this Paul
Mm-hmm.
character.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I think about the snakes and everything, and the tribes kind of stuff. Like, yeah.
But to be fair, Paul is doing everything bad to make people go down the wrong path, so that I don't know if his intention is he wants a team and he wants them to help him, or if he actually just wants to kill them all and just use their kind of ship, or if he's
boat.
or whatever it is. Yeah. So I don't know, because he tries to get people to side with him, like Gary does, doesn't he? In the end,
He does, yeah.
and then he gets his upcoming switch. Is well worth watching. Best part of the film.
Yeah, there's like a dodgy CGI moment when you kind of see the snake underwater, and there's like a coils round in the like as if it's swimming along, and you see like a ghost like thing inside. Like that's where Gary is like in the face, like like that's very dodgy.
It's just all rubbish. I just can't
Yeah.
even. Please don't waste anyone else's time on this, because it's just. There's even a scene where Gary and Lisa, the mouse girl, have put down,
Yeah,
or little bird, or whatever. Paul
yeah, baby bird, or
baby
something.
bird,
Yeah,
like going into the forest to have sex, and it's like, really, that would be like the least thing
Yeah.
on my bucket list when I'm in an Amazon where there's poisonous plants, creepy
yeah,
crawlers,
yeah.
something could kill me in a second.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's get into
I know.
it.
It's
Like,
no thanks. Yeah,
who thought that was a good script to write in? And who in the right mind would even try and want to do that?
those guys obviously.
And I was like, oh yeah, you just need to get ate by a panther now. I was rooting for the panther. This is what happens in these films.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely, yeah. These kind of disposable characters you just want to get eaten or killed off or whatever, and like you're rooting for the bad guy here, obviously, and you don't want the others to prevail unless there's somebody you really can relate to or you kind of like.
But none of them really stood out, really, as likable characters. J-Lo tried to do her best.
No, it's pretty bland. This is the problem, and like I said, other than John Voight, who plays Paul, he's the only one who's of interest in the film.
But you don't want to like him because he's the bad one.
No. But
He does a good-ish job.
villain. Yeah, that's
But he's
it.
over the top.
Yeah,
straight away you look at him and you knew it were bad.
Yeah.
From the get-go, it were like, well, he's the bad guy.
May as well have it on his forehead.
Yeah, there were no surprises or like,
Yeah,
shocking. Didn't realise that were coming.
Exactly. Yeah, it's all fairly predictable and things.
Yeah.
One, they were talking more of the people than the snake itself, but that what kind of makes it less real as obviously like it could be a big massive snake, sure. The fact that it kind of like screams, when it gets like attacked and stuff like
Makes me think of a Pokemon or something
Yeah,
a little bit
exactly, yeah.
more.
Yeah, like it doesn't work for me. It's like that's less real, and also the fact that come the back end as well, you like almost like indestructible in a sense, like you shoot in the eye, kill it with fire in the water,
It's burning in the water, and it's like
still
it
alive.
should be dead, but then it's looking like a fire snake.
Yeah, like a Pokemon. Yeah,
and then it's still. I don't know if the other one is the same snake or if it's a different snake in the back end one as well. Like, does it actually eventually die, or does it carry on? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, there was a point that you jumped as well. You're like, you kind of thinking, oh, it's all calm, but then you even said, oh, why did I jump? I knew something was going to...
Yeah.
Then...
I was really annoyed with myself.
Yeah. But you kind of, I guess you maybe half expecting and thinking, once that was like done, it's like, and then another thinking something, it was going to come back again or something. Like,
yeah, but it wasn't when
No.
I expected it to come back,
Yeah.
I think, but I knew it were going to be coming back, but...
Yeah.
Also, there's one where... Oh, it made me giggle, this did. I actually laugh.
the little tiny snake
Yeah.
on the British guy's
Finger.
Yeah.
It was like so comical. He's like, ah! Screaming, and I'm like, it's literally, you could just pull it off and wang it, or chuck it, if people don't know what wang it is, and just fling it off your finger, or waggle your finger, do something. Don't just hold it while it's biting your finger, just letting it.
Yeah, it's almost like it was doing it to show to the people watching, like the camera, like, oh, look how detailed this snake looks. It's almost like get this off. Yeah, a normal person would just go, get it off me, move it off. But it's almost like showcasing, look how good the model looks.
Yeah.
But it still looked, you could tell it's like a little robot type thing going.
Oh, it was so funny. It was really funny.
Yeah.
And it was just like the way that he's acting. Like, if a snake were biting me, I'm pretty sure I'd be moving my arm around and chucking it around and whacking it on something to get it off me. Because then the other person just comes and goes, plop, and comes off. And it's like, you could have done that with your other hand.
Exactly, yeah.
So I just didn't get it. It did make me chuckle. It was only a baby as well. It wasn't like it was a big vicious one. I did also pick up on the fact that obviously we've got JLo's a photographer and you never really see her with a camera.
No.
It's like, oh, let me get a shot of that. And then no camera's seen. Yeah. Then you've got the other guy filming.
Nice cube, yeah.
But then the Gary and Lisa are the the sound people.
Yeah.
And I was like, she was like, do you need sound for this? Because I'm not going to go over and that shipwrecked ship. And I'm like, I know it sounds really daft because everything now that we have has the sound on, don't think that you have to like...
Yeah, have it like back in the old days.
To pick up sound as well. I know we get microphones and stuff like that and you have videos, but like if you were on a phone or something like that, it'd do both, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but this is probably like fairly old new tech without that kind of stuff. The equipment they've got is subpar to not do that, but I don't know if it's just means just because to have more bodies there to
build up the story, but really to be fair, none of it's all lacklustre. I really despise as well when JLo's going in to kind of like seduce Paul.
Yeah.
I'm like, really? So then I'm like, really? Is she succumb? Is she like trying to be like on his side now and wants him to take a picture of this big snake, or is it a trick?
Do you really think?
I was like, what is going on? And
come on, I can't believe you didn't think that she was just trying to, as a ploy, just to try and like get him, like sucker punch him in the back.
I don't know, and it didn't fall for it because I'm thinking, oh well, maybe she's that gullible, like, oh well, he's the only strong man now.
Come on.
I did think, yeah.
Give you some credit on like thinking that this was all just maybe we should.
No, because I was thinking, I wonder where the film's going because it's like it's that crap.
Weird twist of some kind. Let's team up and just throw them all overboard.
It'd be more interesting, to be fair.
Maybe they should have done that. But once they do like knock him out, and it's like, why didn't they just chuck him off the boat? Because but she's like, J-Lo's like, oh no, I don't think we have enough casualties or something. Like, so what's one more in this situation? And he's not going to cause us any grief. We can go home now.
Exactly. But
let's tie him up instead for where he obviously will break out, and
and the fact that then he kills that girl as well, like Baby Bird, for no reason. It's like, why did you need to do that? Because she'd grass on him because he'd escaped. Like, it's just a
yeah. And also the whole reason they were going there in the first place for the tribe, that is very much shoehorned in at the end of the film.
Yeah, it really is, because like literally you see him on boats, you don't even get him seeing then
what they filmed.
The tribe.
Yeah, it's like, oh, get the camera, or whatever, and then it's like fade cut to the credits, or they're like sailing off into the sunset. Like, oh, okay.
And I'd kind of like to know a bit more about the tribe actually, and a bit that probably would have interested me more. Understanding like a little bit like King Kong.
Yeah, exactly. Some kind of like, they had the barrier up down the river, like keep out kind of thing. But no, it would have been probably a bit more interested if they'd had that involvement with some of the tribe people,
because
even if they couldn't understand them. But
because the tribe did worship the
snake gods,
the snakes, yeah. So it's like it would have been interesting to
some mythos there, but not really delve too much into, just for the sake of this bog standard story. Yeah,
and how it ends really with the snake and everything. It kind of, obviously Paul becomes the bad one again. Yes, he's still like the snake. He never dies. He's like relentless.
Yeah, he gets eaten, spat out. Yeah, and he's like winks at J-Lo, and like even though he's like covered in like saliva and like acid, like burnt skin and everything or whatever, it's very much trying to just play on some like easy horror tropes of the bad guy doesn't die and just keeps coming back and back.
But then he seems more like the bad guy, and you want the snake to live, really, in the end.
Well, yeah, you kind of want rooting for him to, like, eat him and squeeze him and all that kind of stuff.
I'd prefer that to be like, right, just leave the other two alone, let them kind of be all right, and just kill the bad guy. That's what I'd wanted. Yeah.
But no, they had to try and, like, blow it up and everything. Yeah.
Make it more action-packed than it needed to be. So yeah, great start to Monster March.
Well, you've only yourself to blame, really. But it's true. But
how mean, viewers. He knew what he was doing. He knew, we'll mention J-Lo, she'll be interested in that one. Then she'll put herself under the bus by saying, I never get to pick a film. And then the reason why she never gets to pick a film is because it's crap.
Yeah, but I think you might have said that about other choices they might have gone with in the...
To be fair, yeah. So I'll let you pick next time. And then if it's crap, it's your fault. Because Monster March is, to be fair, I'm still waiting for you to find a really, really good monster film for me to enjoy. I would really like to come out of this one, especially since it's going to be his last one. I think the high monster one for me at the moment is King Kong.
Yep.
That's like
understandable.
My main one.
Yeah.
Not like the really, really old one.
Oh, right, okay. Not the classic. No?
Not the classic. Ugh. No.
No.
But, the one with the blonde... Has she got blonde hair? The one where
Naomi
Kong...
was,
yeah, that one.
The Peter Jackson one, yeah. The one that was 3 hours.
Yeah.
Because, they took an hour just to get from New York on the boat, and then it's like, one that could be totally trimmed down.
Yeah, but I just like it because Kong is a lovable creature.
Yeah, okay.
So I think that's your level.
So it continues on that,
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we've probably covered most of it, really. I think the only thing I've got that maybe of note to anybody who's interested about the...
I'm not.
more about the animatronics.
Oh, okay, yeah, I am.
Of the snake, really. The animatronics were done by a guy called Walt Conti, I believe. I think I got that right.
Okay.
He was solely a specialist on underwater robots.
All right.
So just imagine that as a niche in terms of like a career.
Limits him because did he do Jaws? I don't...
No, he did Free Willy though.
Never seen it.
Never seen it either.
Is that a monster?
Not really, is it? There's no... I wouldn't class as a monster, more of a creature feature.
Yeah. It's a shame.
Yeah. So yes, he did the majority of the work, but there was only the whole snake wasn't a robot. I think it was only parts of it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like the head
Because
or the
head
tails.
of the tail, yeah, and the body and stuff. They were like tubes and stuff that, because more like clever shots of, obviously for close-ups and stuff and the way they do it. And partly it was, as you might imagine, using digital effects when the animatronics didn't or couldn't work.
Yeah.
So obviously like when the thing's wrapping around and stuff, because it could only go so far with the coiling around with the robot. Especially as the fact that the animatronic had to be reprogrammed just to make any slight different movements at all. Which is, I don't know if that's just
that
obviously
sounds time consuming.
Yeah, it was. So that's why they went over the digital effects. Like I think when the first kill with it, he grabs one of the people and does the bite coil round. That looked didn't really look very believable as an animatronic. So the director was like, "Nah, we're gonna go digital on this one."
Right.
And but still looks kind of obviously not real anyway. So it's kind of, you can't win either way. And the snake itself weighed 5,000 pounds.
As in the animatronic, or
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's quite a lot.
And for one of the scenes, obviously when you're using it in obviously when it's attacking the boat and stuff, that had to be filmed in to use it, they had to drain an arboretum, which is like a area where the plants and trees are grown. Had to dig out concrete foundations to put the pickup point so they can move the snake along like a track or whatever.
Oh my goodness.
Fill it back up with water, and like $1 million to make it look like the Amazon. Obviously with the shrubbery and trees and stuff, just for these scenes where it's attacking the boat or whatever.
That's ridiculous.
And then having to reset it all again, obviously drain it out and thing is a bit crazy, isn't it?
That's such a waste of money. Just don't put him in the water.
Well, it's obviously meant to be like the Jaws, isn't it?
Yeah, but he's not.
Reptile.
I feel like a snake is more on land in my head, but I know it can do both. But
yeah,
it's just like a duck.
Killer duck movies.
I prefer that, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Might put you off.
I like ducks. It's just like the birds. I still like them, even though we watched.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good one. Was that Monster March?
No, it was Hitchcock.
See? Still, apart from King Kong, I'm struggling.
Okay. Do you have a score ready?
Yeah.
Yep.
I think for me, I won't watch it again. I don't really see why I did watch it. The allure wasn't as great as I thought it was going to be. I thought, Snake, Paul likes reptilian animals. It might be like his love for Jurassic Parks. Yeah, no, it's really not.
It's on another level, that is.
And it's just disappointing, really, to be fair. I don't really like any of the characters. I don't gel with them. I don't really care for anyone. I don't really care for the snake either. I feel sorry for it, but then I'm like, what does it take to kill the snake in the end? That's what I'm wondering. Which you go to this ridiculousness of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it does get a bit OTT on that.
So even it looks dated for what it is. Like everything, it just looks like a really budget film when you just told me they've wasted like $1 million on creating something that they didn't need to create. They could have put it into a better storyline. And
it just makes me laugh, the fact that even after the film came out and it's like, were people crying out for sequels of this Anaconda? It doesn't make sense, really, to be honest. Because
unless the first time it did really well, I don't know, in cinema.
I think it's kind of, I don't know if it's really seen as a cult classic or anything as such, but it's no Jaws, obviously. Or
no, it never could be.
No deep characters you care about or anything like that. So
I'd probably say it's a 3.
That's fair.
What about you?
I'm going to go a little bit higher than what you've gone with. The 0.5 is more just because I don't think the snake is too problematic in how it looks.
You're just biased.
I guess.
Yeah.
And the performance of John Voight, who's the over-the-top bad guy, because there'd be no reason to go back to watch it if not for him. Really forgot how over the top he is.
It's ridiculously over the top.
Yeah. So that kind of cheesy villain factor is the only redeeming thing to go back for.
That's bad, isn't it?
Yeah. So I'll put it at 4.5.
Okay. Yeah. I'll let you have that.
Yeah. because I was looking back on other films and like, that was the 0.5 is just because of those points I just mentioned, really, in comparison to other things where I'm thinking, no, there's nothing there that would redeem it to revisit those films, really. So
I won't watch it again. It's just like Borat. It's just on my. I've seen it. I wish I hadn't. Not going to see it again.
yeah, but it's not as low as Borat, though, is it?
No, but it's just boring.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that long, but it was just like it felt like it went on forever. Even though we saw the snake like 15 minutes in or something.
Very briefly, yeah.
And it was just like still a bit of a yawn fest.
Yeah, it wasn't very gripping. No. But to its some credit, I guess, because normally they tend to do these films, especially these modern films, they try and cover up any like how bad the monsters are in like nighttime or stormy situations. I think like so like the Godzilla King of the Monsters springs to mind when with that one. It's like, oh, it's nighttime, it's dark, it's raining. I mean, they look better CGI generally, but it's like, oh, because of any like blemishes you might see, it's kind of covered up by the darkness.
But it's also creating an atmosphere that is, though, isn't it? Yeah. To be fair,
exactly.
Which does kind of create the mood a bit better.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't rain once.
It did, but I don't think the snake was involved in that.
No.
Which would probably make it a lot more dramatic, really, wouldn't it? It's kind of during the daytime, which I guess kind of makes it less of a cliche of like all bad things happen at nighttime type of thing. But
true.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, that's the first one. Out of the way.
Only 4 more to go.
Yeah.
Hitting my head against a brick wall.
So the next one will be something I haven't seen.
Oh,
before.
God help us.
Yeah.
Is it about a fluffy bunny rabbit?
No, why would it be?
I don't know.
That would be stupid. As a horror or scary creature, would it? Why would... Well, you have to be monstrous.
It might have big teeth.
Like the Monty Python one. That's a monster. That's a good film.
Well, I've not seen it.
Yeah, Holy Grail. Yeah, you have.
Yeah, I've put that right back to my back of my head with the horse clapping things with
great.
Coconuts. Yeah. It's not.
So the next one, I'll tell you what it is because I do know what that's.
Oh, you actually organised it.
Yeah. It's called The Blob.
All I've got is Ditto in my head, or green gloopy thing that had
Flubber.
Yeah. Anything like that? No.
Well, I assume that it would be a bit more like, well, not so much terrifying. I don't think. I think it's one of those kind of like B-movie ones, but probably done a bit better than some.
It's interesting. Okay, I'm intrigued.
Yeah. So that'll be the next episode. But in the meantime, if you want to check out all our other episodes, you can go listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, Good Pods, Podchaser, and wherever else you might get your podcasts from.
And if you want to see any more content, see what's coming up next for our upcoming episodes, or looking back, if you want to, you can follow us on Twitter or Instagram under the handle SP_filmviewers. I did well there, didn't I?
Yeah, well done.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I sounded like I knew what I was on about.
On that one, yeah.
Yay!
Yeah.
I'm also going to take charge now and say we also have a Buy Me a Coffee page. So if anyone wants to be so kind to put any kind of Buy Me a Coffee or any donations in there, then that's truly appreciated as well. Nothing goes by saying that we don't like to be appreciated, and I don't think anyone doesn't really. It'd be a bit weird if you didn't. So if you want to donate or put a little bit of a comment or anything like that, give us any feedback as well. All is welcome, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So thank you very much for listening, and we will speak to you next time.
Speak to you next time.
Bye.
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 Bye.